Hello and welcome to a new session on the topic iSAQB and the Arc42 documentation standard for software architecture. How can you make use of the Arc42 template in your enterprise architecture work? This is what we have been discussing in and will be discussing in this session and in the previous video sessions as well, and future video sessions to continue on the topic. Disclaimer: any copyrighted materials, please refer to the website iSAQB.org and arc42.org to use the materials. In these sessions, we only introduce the topics and how you can benefit from applying the Arc42 template in your organization. The material is available for download on the official website arc42.org/download. In this session, we are introducing the skeleton of the Word document English version with help. So far, we have explained the system architecture aspects such as the functional requirements, the system context, and the building blocks. We continue with the deployment view in today's session. The deployment view is concerned about the operations, DevOps, site reliability engineering, the infrastructure. What does your system require in these aspects? How can we keep the system operational in production? What are the hardware requirements and resources for the system? What is the release cycle process that has been aligned with the stakeholders, if any? If not, you can also include release line is only recommended, release versioning, and so. And you can also add any processes aligned with versioning if you're introducing a version with the compatibility, backward compatibility requirements. If any of this has been the topic of discussions with the stakeholders and alignment, then this is a good place to introduce them. In this view, we mainly concerned about, as we have said, DevOps and infrastructure. And the form, you can have UML offers, deployment diagrams. You can use the deployment diagrams from UML. You can use other any specific requirements based on your organizations and stakeholder needs. And break down again in the terms of level 1 and level 2, etc. The next section is cross-cutting concepts or concerns. This is one of the most interesting sections where the architects really excel, because this really makes a great difference between a hobby project and an enterprise architecture work. In enterprise, you are concerned about data replication, backups, disaster recovery. You are concerned about regulations, ISO 27001 or PSI in Germany or EU AI Act. However regulations are put on your industry or on your region, you need to introduce them here. Again, with topics such as migrations, are we going to have any migrations to be addressed in the implementation of this project? Are we going to have any transit architectures that we need also to address when we move from one transit architecture to the next or to the target architecture? Are we going to have playbacks of events if you are using event streams? These are all to be introduced in the cross-cutting concepts. Here is a visual. What are possible cross-cutting concepts that could be addressed? You don't have to, you must not address all of these aspects in your architecture work. It's enough to have the ones relevant to your architecture work package and your enterprise project. But you can see it's quite comprehensive and complete. It means that you can find almost every aspect that needs to be addressed, good introduced in this diagram, from implementation to administration to safety, security, the business aspects and domains, from data to application to infrastructure, These are all good places to introduce these cross-cutting concerns. It could also be the case that these concerns has been addressed extensively in previous architecture work. You can reference them. You say, we are going to use the RESTful APIs, hit also standard, and our APIs should use semantic versioning, as we have already introduced that in architecture work package 100, whatever. You can also see that these are cross-cutting. That means, for example, the domain data models, they are related to persistence and also related to domain concepts, such as ubiquitous language. The data model reflects the business language. And likewise for logging and tracing as a technical, under the hood technical detail that also related to operation, DevOps, and administration. You list the concepts having highlights and explanation. It could be very concise, brief explanation. It could be a mid-level or even extensive explanation depending on the depth of your cross-cutting concerns, relevance for the architecture work package. That's it for today's session. Thank you and see you in future sessions.